to play an ad that you all have been running and then ask you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or not.
Mitt Romney campaigned as a job creator.
I know how jobs are created.
But as a corporate raider, he shipped jobs to China and Mexico. As governor, he did the same thing, outsourcing state jobs to India. Now he's making the exact same pitch.
I know why jobs come and why they go.
Outsourcing jobs. Romney economics. It didn't work then, and it won't work now.
You all have invested very heavily in the Bain Capital element of trying to convince people of what Mitt Romney is about. And yet this particular ad got 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post, which is not true. And this is what factcheck.org had to say. We found no evidence to support the claim that Romney, while he was still running Bain Capital, shipped American jobs overseas.
Well,
you now have a similar ad out. Why do you keep with that?
I would say that factcheck.org ought to read the Washington Post, which is the one that came up with a report that said, looking at SEC filings, that Mitt Romney and Bain Capital were pioneers in outsourcing. They shipped jobs all over the world that could and should have been.
Mitt Romney was, yeah. But the point, their point is that in fact, Mitt Romney was not running Bain. He had cut ties and gone off.
That also is not true, because Mitt Romney was the head and sole owner of Bain longer than Mitt Romney has admitted to being the sole owner of Bain. But let's understand this, because we saw this a little bit again this week. We've got a guy who believes and has been a pioneer in outsourcing jobs. And quite frankly, he offshores most of his own personal investments, presumably to shield them from taxes. Candy, I don't know about you. I pick a bank because there's an ATM near my home, right? Mitt Romney had a bank account in Switzerland. He's got a shell company.
Nothing illegal, right?
Well,
you're
we
not
don't know.
Charging that he's done anything illegal with any of this.
Candy, nobody knows why he has a corporation in Bermuda, why he failed to disclose that on 7 different financial disclosures, why he transferred it to somebody else's purview the day before he became governor of Massachusetts. The one thing he could do, Candy, to clear up whether or not he's done anything illegal, whether he's shielding his income from taxes in Bermuda or Switzerland, is to do what every other presidential candidate's done, and that's release a series of years of their own tax returns. Mitt Romney's father was the pioneer for releasing a series of tax returns. The best way to figure out if Mitt Romney's complying with American tax law is to have him release more of his tax returns. This is a guy whose slogan is Believe in America, and it should be business in Bermuda. That's what Mitt Romney's all about. Which
is a great line, but again, there's no evidence here that any of the fact-checked organizations have found that A, he outsourced jobs or was present at Bain when that happened, and B, that he's done anything illegal. You've had a lot of advice from folks, Democrats, saying get off of this particular Bain thing. There's obviously some polling that shows, in fact, it's having some effect in some of the battleground states.
Well, again,
but why
this is an ad that's based on a report that the Washington Post did. Okay, so I would encourage everyone to go to WashingtonPost.com and read that report. The reason that we'll keep talking about this is important. You know, are we going to create jobs here in America? Are we going to bring them back from overseas? Are we going to do away with tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas? Or are we going to invest in manufacturing here in this country? You know, we've created 500,000 manufacturing jobs. More manufacturing jobs have been created in the last few years than since the mid-90s. Mitt Romney famously said we ought to let Detroit and the auto industry go bankrupt. Again, I go back to 2 very different visions about this economy.
Right.